Hello and welcome to Into the Nexus. I'm your host, Corey Gordon. And on the show, we dive into the deep, fascinating world where business insights meet cutting edge artificial intelligence. Joining us today is Aaron Davis, a true entrepreneur with a fascinating journey across several industries. Starting in sales with companies like Green Energy, Solar World, and A1 Solar Power, Aaron eventually transitioned into leadership, becoming the owner and president of Firefly Solar, a residential and commercial solar installer serving the Carolinas and Georgia. Just a few short months ago, Firefly Solar was named to the 2025 Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing private companies in America. Before his ventures into solar, Aaron was also the founder and CEO of Perfect Health Projects, where he focused on functional diagnostic nutrition to help his clients uncover underlying health issues. Aaron, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No worries, no worries. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and the journey that led you to the solar energy sector?
Sure. Yeah, it's funny listening to you read out the intro. The Perfect Health Project seems like a lifetime ago. Um, uh, I used to be healthy once upon a time. Then I started a solar business. But no, so I was living in New York City actually at the time, and I got certified in functional diagnostic nutrition. It's a certain discipline it's great. It sort of looks at underlying health issues and stuff like that rather than treating symptoms. And I was enjoying that. That was a good business to be in, but hard to pay the bills with. What I found there is people like to spend money on what they want, not what they need, and it was kind of I wasn't great at attracting business. But I moved to California with the idea of sort of teaming up with a chiropractor out there actually, and I got there and we kind of had different ideas of what the arrangement was going to be, and so we went separate ways, and it was fine. It wasn't like a broken business partnership or anything like that. It was like we had different ideas, and so we decided to do our own thing. But I had moved to California. I didn't really have any money. I was living in the Bay Area, and which is an expensive area to live in when you don't have any money.
Yeah.
And most of the jobs there, so I was looking for something essentially to supplement my business, most of the jobs there are centered around technology, which, I'm not technologically illiterate, but I'm also not a programmer or anything like that. So there's really nothing that was that applicable to me. But I saw a number of jobs for solar salespeople. And I just found that really interesting. I'm like, oh, solar, the cool technology of the future. It's energy of the future. It's renewable and all that kind of good stuff. So I applied for a job in sales with a company that at the time, I think you listed the name off in the introduction. It was A1 Solar. They were at that time about the ninth largest in California, the ninth largest solar company in California. They were, if you hadn't already said the name, I wouldn't have brought it up because they were not a good company, which I didn't know about at the time. It wasn't until later, and it's sort of getting more experience and working in other places. I'm like, oh yeah, they weren't the best company to work with. But they started out with solar sales, and they would provide leads. I would go and sit with homeowners at their kitchen table and talk about the benefits of solar and close them on it. I'd never had a sales position before, really. That was just purely sales, but found I was, pretty good at it, and enjoyed it. Did not love living in California. It was like I'd left New York City for kind of a quieter life, but California area was not a place to find a quieter life. And yeah, I thought it would be being in the suburbs, but it really wasn't. California is just so busy, so crowded, so much traffic.
Yes.
So I started looking around for I was enjoying solar at that point, so I started looking around for where the next sort of booming solar market might be, based on local incentives and various things. And South Carolina kind of, rose to the top, which I wasn't excited about, but I'm like, well, let's move there for maybe a couple of years, make some money, and then move on. But within a pretty short amount of time, my wife and I both agreed that, hey, we really like it here. We've made some good friends really quickly, and And so, within a few months after moving here, I started my own company, my own solar business, and um, and yeah, the rest is history. I guess here we are, almost 10 years later. Um,
Oh,
and the business is going well, and we're growing, and it's a challenge. It's a lot of work, but we're moving in the right direction, I think. So there's the long version of how I got into solar and how I came to have this company. Yeah.
oh, wow. The first thought that comes to mind with California, I think everyone's got so many people have electric vehicles and they do have a lot of solar, other initiatives, solar panels on the roofs and whatnot. You would think that maybe California would have been the place for you to stay to do this, seeing as there's such a big push there. I think more than anywhere else that they have more solar things happening there. But
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't always work out that way, and like you moved out to where you are now, and it's working perfectly.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you are right that California, I don't know if California would have the most solar in the country, more than any other state. When it comes to per capita, I'm not sure if it outweighs Hawaii or not. I think that'd be one of those two would be the top.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, obviously California is a lot bigger than Hawaii, so it obviously has more solar. The cost of energy in California is through the roof as well, which makes solar
Right.
attractive because it's a much lower cost of generating energy than purchasing it from a utility. And so it is a very ripe market for solar in California. But at the time South Carolina has a state tax credit, and even though the
Mhm.
federal tax credit is winding down at the end of this year, the South Carolina state tax credit is staying in place, at least for now. So when I moved here, we had the federal, we had the state, and then one of the larger utilities in the state was Duke Energy, and they had a rebate program as well. So put all that together, it became very financially feasible and attractive to go solar. It's wound. Some of those things have wound down a little bit, but people still want solar. People love it,
Hmm.
and a lot of people purchase solar now for. They're less focused on savings and more focused on independence and resilience and that kind of thing, and getting some separation between them and their monopoly utility.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, what do most people outside of the solar energy sector misunderstand or even underestimate about the work being done in the solar space?
I think there's a lot of misunderstandings, and it's on different levels. And also, for whatever reason, in America, solar is very politicized, and so there's misunderstandings sort of on a political level as well. So I guess if I'm going to sort of speak to a couple of major misunderstandings, one is that it's heavily subsidized by the government, therefore it's not a viable industry,
Mhm.
and that's sort of a myth. The reality is it's absolutely viable as an industry without government incentives, and we're about to see that as the federal tax credit is taken out of the picture in a couple of months' time. We'll continue to see solar boom. But the other flip side of that is that every energy sector is heavily subsidized by the government,
Right.
including gas, oil, coal, and solar is the least subsidized, government subsidized of any industry, any energy sector. Solar has the least amount of government subsidies of all of them. So, if we're saying that solar is not a viable industry because it has to be government subsidized, well, we're saying the same thing about oil,
Right.
which doesn't make any sense. Another big misunderstanding is that solar just doesn't work, and I don't know what that means exactly, or what people are thinking when they say that. I think probably what people mean when they say solar doesn't work is they think what they're saying is it doesn't meet their expectations of whatever their expectations are, and I think a lot of that is centered around savings, and a lot of people think, this kind of ties into solar doesn't work. A lot of people think solar is a scam. and unfortunately, solar is not a scam, but it unfortunately can be used by scammers to scam people. It's
Right.
a mechanism to by nasty people to do bad things, and the most common way people get hurt with that, which again ties back into solar doesn't work, is they're just oversold. They undersize the system, they overprice the system, so you end up paying more for your energy than you otherwise would. It's not offsetting as much of your bill, your electric bill, as you thought it would, and now you're paying a loan on top of that, and so people don't see the savings that they were promised. Again, but that comes down to the person selling it or the person installing it, not solar itself. Solar absolutely works. Solar is an excellent source of energy. You're using the energy at the source. You're creating it on your roof and using it in the home in real time. So it's not traveling on transmission lines and everything else, and further degrading an aging infrastructure. That's a big problem right now. So it's an excellent energy source, and it does work, and it can provide savings as long as it's sold in an ethical manner.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That was one of my biggest concerns that I came across when reading about solar. Uh, it came down to the sales. The
Yeah,
person who was selling it, it was always you have a low upfront cost, and then all of a sudden, um, there's fees that come out of nowhere, and the people didn't understand where it was coming from, and they were saying this is supposed to be more affordable, cheaper.
yeah,
I'm trying to be, go with cleaner energy and whatnot, but then the costs come out of nowhere, and then the installations in some cases they didn't finish the full install because the person didn't pay, and then leaves them with the bill to pay for what they signed for that they didn't even know. So it's good to hear that you're able to explain that part of it, because that was a big misconception that solar is a big scam.
yeah, and it's unfortunate. There's just a lot of bad players in the industry, unfortunately, and it hurts everybody. But I think it is important to get the message out there. Solar is a good thing. Just do your due diligence. Don't
Hmm.
just go with the first person that knocks on your door or the first ad you see or anything else. Do your diligence. Really research. Look at reviews. See the kind of work. Visit their location and make sure they're the legitimate company and everything else. There's a prevailing method in this industry, at least in the States. I'm not sure if this is like this in other places, but there's this sort of fragmented business model where you've got a sales organization and all they are is just a paper company with a bunch of guys with backwards baseball hats knocking on doors and writing contracts for solar, but they don't have any kind of insurance, licensure, anything technical. They're not a contractor, so then they'll try to find a contractor to then install it. And
Hmm.
the contractor, they're the ones with everything on the line. They've got the license and all that kind of stuff. And often the contractor is left holding the bag of an unethical sale that was made.
Right.
And then there's just a lot of finger pointing about whose fault it is. And so that is a really common practice in this country. And so, again, I say don't go with the first person or the first company you meet with. But what I would suggest is find a company where if the person that you're sitting with, the salesperson you're sitting with, if they're not representing the same company that's coming out with their trucks and ladders and solar panels, I wouldn't go with them. Now, not to say that's a bad across the board, but typically speaking, it's that model that's gotten the solar reputation in hot water over the years. I would go with what we call a vertically integrated company, where the salespeople are employees of the contractor that's installing it. They're all under one roof. That's my advice. Again, it's speaking fairly broadly, but that would be how I would do it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great to hear that. It's great to hear for the listeners to also hear that too, so that they maybe this clears up any misconceptions that they have as well.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, Firefly Solar, what do you do? Who are you? And who do you do it for?
So we are a solar company that mostly does residential. We do some commercial as well. The bulk of our work is putting solar panels on people's homes. Our biggest job to date was we did a Tanger outlet mall down in Savannah, Georgia, where we the installer on that. And the commercial world works a little differently. typically speaking, you've got developers that will sort of procure the sale and get everything set up. They'll often do part of the engineering or different things. And then they'll get a contractor to come and install as a subcontractor, basically. So we were the subcontractor on that. And that was a large job. Anyone that knows Tanger Outlet Malls, if you can imagine one of those with, I think, around 3,500 solar panels, I think it was 1.4 megawatts. So that was our biggest, but yeah, for the most part, we do residential. And just sort of to expand on that, there are some pretty big changes going on in the solar industry right now with the tax credit going away and so on. So we're kind of using this as an opportunity to expand our offering into more general construction. So we will continue to have a focus on sustainability, renewable energy, electrification, all those kinds of good things. But we're going to expand our offering into taking those things that underpin who we are into more general stuff. So whether it's general electrical, general construction, we're gonna do a lot of commercial EV chargers is going to be a big part of what we do. And so a more general thing, but solar will always be a big part of our offering, but we're just going to be offering more now. Yeah.
More now, right? And so you mentioned commercial EV charging, and I would assume you'd also would do the in-home,
Yeah.
For EV charging as well. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, and we do quite a bit of that now. Actually, usually it's sort of an add-on to somebody's going solar. They're going to get an EV charger at the same time. That's pretty common.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we do quite a bit of that now, and we'll continue to. But I'll start putting more focus into commercial as well, because as EV sales grow around the country, we've got to get that infrastructure to keep up with it. And of course, then that comes back to my earlier comment about an aging infrastructure. The country's not ready for that on an electrification scale. And so continuing to install solar and that kind of thing hand in hand with all this stuff, I think is very important.
Right. Yeah. Because I've heard about that as well, that the grid wouldn't be able to support full nationwide adoption yet. It needs a lot of upgrades.
Yeah, it's that's exactly right. And so we've got a lot of work to do. It's going to give China and other countries a massive head start on AI and other kind of data heavy technologies. It's going to leave America in the dust. But I mean,
it's tough. It's tough.
that is the state of the industry, though. America needs more energy, and it needs it fast, and it needs it inexpensive, and that solar provides all those things where like nothing else does, and so pulling the rug out from the solar industry is very short-sighted and unfortunate. It's gonna hurt us in the years to come.
Yeah, because I've seen, like you mentioned, in China, they are so far ahead with the technology here, and I see they even have things like EV battery changing stations. You could drive your car in, it'll swap the battery out,
Nice.
put a new one in, and you go about your way. And
Right.
even roadways, and I think in Detroit is already working on this, but
I
the
think-
lanes that you drive, yeah.
Yeah, I have heard about that. I think you're right. I think it is in Detroit that they've got some prototypes going.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of exciting technology out there, and America is just not adopting it at a very good rate, unfortunately. But hopefully that will change. But yeah, I mean, China. Don't quote me on the stat because I forget exactly what it was, but I read something the other day that China deployed something to the effect of China deployed more solar in the last maybe year. I think it was less than that. I think it was like a couple of months than America has ever in total. They're just racing ahead with that, and again with data centers and all that kind of stuff that's being built out around the world. We need that energy. I mean, there are other great forms of energy. I'm not anti-fossil fuel, but the logistics of it are not there. Gas, for example, gas turbines they're 7 years out on lead time, 5 to 7 years. So it's like, great, let's build a new gas plant. Okay, cool. We need that energy. That's fantastic. And again, I'm not opposed to fossil fuels, but we're not going to have it online for at least 7 years. We need energy now. We need it right now.
Yep.
So that's really what the issues are with that. Yeah.
Okay. So far with Firefly Solar, what would you say is one of your proudest moments in terms of impact or an outcome that's been done by Firefly Solar?
You know what? I think I love the impact that we're having in the electrification space and the renewable energy sustainability and everything. I love that. I feel like everything we're doing is really a drop in the bucket in that regard, though. So I think what I would say for our biggest impact and the thing that I'm most proud of is the opportunities we're providing employees in this area that live in this area here in upstate South Carolina. Um, you know, we've got about 40 employees currently, and we've had more over the years that have come and gone and so on over the years. But we've employed guys that have come from living in a trailer and generationally living in trailers that now own their own homes, because we provide them an opportunity to learn a skill that's valuable and pays well and everything else. We've had a number of employees that younger employees that have managed to start families and that kind of thing, things they didn't think they could really afford to do, and now they're having child number 2 or 3 kind of thing. And so I think that's the thing that I feel most proud of, is just the opportunities that we're providing people who may not have otherwise had the opportunities to do some of the things they're doing in life, and sort of climbing that ladder and in life kind of thing. So that's what I like the most. Yeah.
That's very nice, very nice. Uh, what stage would you say is Firefly Solar's in right now? And what would you say growth looks like for you over the next 12 months?
Yeah, it's a really interesting stage, honestly. And again, it sort of centers around what I was talking about before with the tax credit going. So I do, and I don't want to sound like I contradicted myself. I said without the incentives, solar will still flourish, and yet I'm saying we're planning on diversifying because of that. So just to clarify, solar will still flourish, but for the next 2 to 3 years, I expect it to take a downward dip for a period of time, and that's to do with it's to do with the incentives being taken away, but it's also to do with the market just correcting itself, and figuring it out how to build this industry in a post tax credit world. So that'll take 2 or 3 years to figure out, but beyond that, solar has a huge and very bright future. So for us, to account for what I anticipate a dip in sales for the next couple of years, I really had 2 options. We were pretty much a solar company. We've done some roofs, a little bit of HVAC here and there. So we've dabbled in some side things, but not in a major way. We're very much just a solar company, historically. And so my choices, knowing that we've got some headwinds in the industry for a period of time, my choices were in order to survive, either scale way down, which means laying off some of those people that I'm so happy to provide opportunities for, and scale the business down significantly to reduce our overhead, so we can just be a smaller company for a while, or fill the gap in those sales with other things. So where we're at right now, the stage we're at right now, is we're pivoting very quickly. One of the probably the biggest disappointment with the tax credit being taken away is not so much that it's being taken away, but how it's being taken away. It's that the rug has just been pulled, with no time to pivot and figure out for businesses, companies, that kind of thing, or an entire industry, no time to figure it out. And so, we were asking when we were lobbying and so on before the big beautiful bill was signed. We were saying, look, just give us a glide path. Let's scale it down over 2 or 3 years and give us time to adjust our business models and everything else. We don't take it away. That's fine. But give us time to adjust our businesses. And then they didn't. They pulled the rug very severely. And so I'm taking a almost 10-year-old company, like a steamship that's been moving in this direction for a solid 10 years. We're working hard, we're building, we're overcoming challenges all in this direction. Now I'm being like, all right, well, let's just take all this momentum that we've got and shift directions here into a general construction company, so that we can continue to stay in business, not have to lay people off, scale people down, or scale down. So that's the stage we're in, and it's an interesting stage to be in. I feel okay about it. I'm not really concerned. I had my moments earlier in the year where I was pretty concerned and worried about the future. But I've gotten past that. I'm like, now it's just time to work hard, and make this happen. And so we've kind of restructured the brand. We still have Firefly Solar as a DBA, but we've put several DBAs or several subsidiaries under a umbrella, or one company, which is Firefly Construction Group. So technically, okay. Firefly Construction Group is the mother company now. Our new website is fireflylife.com. And in fireflylife.com, we've got the 6 different subsidiaries. We've got construction, electrical, solar, EV charging, roofing, and HVAC. So that's kind of the direction that we're going. So as far as growth goes, which is coming back to your question, I think we will grow because we're sort of going to be offering so many more things now. So I do think we'll be in a state of growth for the next 12 months, which is exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you went, as you mentioned, the big beautiful bill, the rug pulled out under you. It sounds like you pivoted in the right direction by offering more services now, so it's not just relying just strictly on solar. Now you have the other avenues, and they all can tie into each other because they all are part of that family.
Exactly, they're all related, and again, it's all underpinned by the sort of the ethos of focusing. We're doing general construction, but focusing on sustainability, renewable, electrification, that kind of thing. So everything we do is sort of so even the HVACs we install, for example, are highly energy efficient HVACs, right. That kind of thing. So that's our focus. Yeah.
Okay. What would you say has been the toughest part of getting Firefly Solar or your other services into the hands of customers?
Well, one of the difficulties is what we talked about earlier with just the general reputation of the industry being in hot water because of bad players. So that makes it difficult. Mm-hmm. We'll put a post on Facebook or an ad or something, and there'll be all these people that comment that solar's a scam and blah blah blah. And so it's an unfortunate perception. But the industry's earned it. You know what I mean? I can't be angry at people for thinking that, because there are plenty of bad players out there, and they've brought this on us. So, but that obviously is an obstacle to get in front of people, to show them, hey, it's not a scam. You just got to choose the right company and be wise about that. Another thing, I guess, is it's people don't see it as a necessity, and which I think is fair. It's not really a necessity. You have your other option. Your other option is your utility company. But you really only have 2 options for energy, and that's it. You can continue to purchase energy from your utility company forever, which many people are happy to do, or you can, generate your own. And so I think a lot of it is, just inertia. Like people are like, well, why would I go solar? What I've got right now isn't broken. But I will say I don't know who this is. One of my sales reps loves to start their pitch with, what do you like most about your utility company? And nobody ever has anything good to say.
I could imagine.
Yeah, nobody ever has anything good to say because people don't like the utility companies. So I think getting the message out there that you do have one other option and this is it. Let's at least take a look at it. That's not always an easy message to get out there. And again, I think largely comes down to either inertia. People are just happy with what they've got, or they've heard bad things about solar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know. And this next question, you already touched a bit on it, but what would you say the bottlenecks you're experiencing are around pipeline outreach or lead conversion are?
Yeah, good question. And I would say that is a moving target. That, I can give you one answer today, but it would have been a different answer 6 months ago. But I think a consistent bottleneck is permitting and interconnection. So, and that's certainly our current bottleneck right now. But permitting takes way longer than it should. There is absolutely zero consistency between any permitting authority. We call them AHJs, which is authority having jurisdiction, which is your county, your city, whatever, right? And there's zero consistency whatsoever. And we work in 4 states, hundreds of jurisdictions across 4 states. And not only do we have to learn what each one does, they change it constantly as well. And so we often just go round in circles trying to get a permit for something that should be really straightforward. And that's frustrating. And the other part of that is interconnection, which is, more or less permitting as well, but with the utility company. It's getting permission with the utility company to interconnect with their grid. And that is the same thing. Every utility company is different, has different requirements. They change constantly. And you're often just chasing your tail trying to figure out what is it they want today. It's, you mentioned you used to work at an airport. It's like TSA. It's like, do I take my shoes off today or do I not take my shoes off today?
Yeah, exactly.
Belt on? No, you want the belt off today? All right, great. It's like that. And so, we have right now, we had a really big, after the bill was passed, the BBB was passed, we had a massive surge in sales because everyone's like, oh my God, I've got to get installed before the end of the year or I won't get this tax credit. So we had 3 months of really solid sales that kind of dipped off a little bit now, which I was expecting. But 3 months of really solid sales, and we got, one person in the office trying to get permitting interconnection done. And it's just a massive bottleneck that would be so much easier if there was some sort of consistency between these governing bodies. And they way overcomplicate things. It's ridiculous. So that is a pain point currently, and it is from time to time. But again, it's a moving target. A couple of years ago, one of the big pain points we had, one of the bottlenecks we had, is we couldn't hire. There was just the labor market was so difficult. Everyone was either working or didn't want to work, or we couldn't find people to employ. We had all these jobs to install and not enough people to install them, so our timelines were really slow. But again, it's one of those things. It's being in business. It's like just sort of navigating
Right.
what curveballs do we have today, right? Well, let's figure it out.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. Would you say that now you still have issues with hiring people, or is it kind of
No,
leveled off now?
it's been good lately. I'm trying to think what year that was. It was like after COVID. It was like 21, 22. It was 2022. That's what it was, because we had a pretty good year in 2022, but just couldn't install quick enough because, the big thing after COVID, and I don't know what happened exactly, but everyone kept saying nobody wants to work, and I'm like, I don't think it's that nobody wants to work. I think that everybody is working. I think a lot of people were laid off during COVID, and then a lot of people got their jobs back. I think also a lot of companies that historically paid pretty poorly started paying more during and after COVID because the labor market was tight. So, even flipping burgers went from $12 an hour to $19 an hour kind of thing.
Right.
And so it was just hard to find good people. I think everybody was working, but now it's a different story. On top of that too, just with what we do in solar, there's been a lot of solar companies have disappeared over the years in our area. And so there's a lot of people with experience that are out of work. Finding people now is very easy. It's good. We've got options, which is great. Yeah.
Okay. What advice would you give to professionals who are looking to make an impact in the solar industry?
I would, yeah. I have a lot of advice. I can't think of what it is right now. I think if I was to give any advice, I would just do it right. Do it the right way. Solar has been seen, again, by these sort of opportunistic bad players. Solar's been seen as a new gold rush, where salespeople could come in and make obscene amounts of money on a single sale. And it's just driven the reputation down and it's made it harder for everyone, including customers, including consumers. Um, I would just say, just see it as another business where you got to come in, you've got to work hard, you've got to do your, pay your dues, do your diligence, and make it work. Don't try and take shortcuts to make money quickly. I think I would say that to for anyone in any business, but obviously solar's my baby. But I've seen the damage is done by people thinking they can just come and make money quickly, and the destruction they leave in their wake. I'm like, don't do that. Just come and work hard and build your way up to be making the kind of money you want to make. But it's not a get rich quick scheme. If you
Yeah.
treat it like one, it just hurts everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like we touched on earlier, those other companies that made this narrative that solar's a scam with how they handle the sales and installation and all that, that really, I know it really hampered the industry. A lot of people wanted to give into solar and try this renewable energy source and try to, support the environment and whatnot. But then when you face things like that, it's
Yeah.
difficult. So I like how you mentioned, just do it the right way. If you're going to do it the right way.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and finally, where can people learn more about Firefly Solar or get in touch with you and your team?
Yeah, well, great. Thanks for asking. So yeah, I mentioned before our new website is fireflylife.com. We still have our old existing website, which is firefly.solar. So that's got a lot of great content. Firefly Life is brand new. But firefly.solar is a great place to go for solar resources or to get in touch. But either way, people can find us. We're located right outside Greenville, South Carolina, as our headquarters, but we are licensed and we work in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. Um, and so, yeah, we can service those areas, and would love to hear from you.
Well, you heard it here, folks. If you're in the Carolinas, Georgia's, Virginia area, feel free to reach out to Aaron and his team. They'll be happy to assist you with anything you need, solar or one of their other services in
Or anything
construction,
else.
HVAC,
Yeah.
EVs, charging, whatever else you need. Aaron, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you coming on the show and chopping
Thank
it up with me,
Yeah.
and
Thank
hope
you for
to hear
having
from
me.
you soon. No problem.